When you truly want change, you are going to look at yourself for revelation. You are not going to look at yourself for reassurance. Hi angels, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel for all my new subscribers. I can see you guys. I see you guys. Welcome to the A-team. If this is the first video that you are watching of mine, hi, how are you? My name is Asha Christina. Very nice to meet you. On this channel, we like to discuss all things psychology, personal development, a lot of dating, and just overall true transformation. That is the message that I am deeply invested in sharing with you guys, and I really hope that you find inspiration from these videos and that these videos continue to uplift and encourage you. So of course, if you're not subscribed, subscribe right now. Turn on the post notifications so that you're notified every single time that I post. Also, be sure to follow me on Instagram. That will be right here. And also, do not forget to sign up for my mailing list, guys. Every month, I actually have something called the Quality Queen Digest, where I basically give you guys a breakdown or a summary of what is going on for that month. So I've got a lot of exciting things coming up for you guys in the near future. So make sure that you are signed up for that so that you know whatever is going on this channel before everybody else does. Also, as you guys know, I did come out with my first podcast episode. This will be every Monday. I will be releasing a brand new podcast episode, and that will be available on Spotify as well as Anchor and a couple of other places as well where podcasts are streaming. I'm still awaiting my approval for Apple. So as soon as that is released, I will let you guys know. And lastly, we are going to highlight the Quality Queen comment of the day. And it says, "This video made me very emotional. I've struggled with so much internal shame and guilt. I needed this. Thank you. Please make more videos like this." And guys, the response to my last video really touched me. Like I think I literally answered every single one of you guys back. And as you guys know, I do try my best to be as responsive as possible because you guys mean the world to me. And when I was writing that video treatment, actually, I started crying myself. So to see that it translated and resonated with so many of you really meant the world to me. Also, the period that I am in my life right now, I'm really focused on personal development. So just to know that you guys are growing with me and you guys are so receptive to me introducing new content and content that to me is really, really important, because this is also a part of the refinement journey and self-transformation, discussing topics that really help to change your life, like this one, how to find your purpose. So if you guys would like to know my top tips on how to find your purpose, then keep on watching. So firstly, I want to say that all of the tips that I share and the questions that I ask will require your honesty. To achieve success in this, you have to figure out how to make your ego work in service of you. And keep in mind, it is important to have an ego, but the challenge is finding the equilibrium. So what I want you guys to understand is that you are already different. You just have to figure out how. I think so many times in life, we go through life, telling people, just be yourself, be you, but people don't know what that is, or people don't know who they really are, and it's a struggle. And some people are, I guess considered lucky because they've always known what they wanted to do in their life, and then some people, they never really understand what it is that they are meant to do. But being that life is a perpetual amalgam of what others think of you, what you think of you, and also what you would like people to think of you. Those three things alone will influence all of your decisions. And also keep in mind, your purpose isn't something that you make up. It is already in you. These are things that come naturally to you. In fact, for some, so natural that you don't even consider it a purpose, or you may not consider it your passion. So let's dive on into this. Are you ready? First question that I want you guys to ask yourself is, what comes naturally to you? Do you play an instrument? Do you sing? Do you dance? Do you enjoy writing? Think about a time where you have felt the most joy in doing something. For instance, for me, I love teaching. And when I was younger, I thought that I was going to be a teacher, and I knew I really enjoyed a lot of public speaking, but I also knew that I loved the entertainment industry, and I always knew that I wanted to do something that made a large impact with the masses. So I figured out how to incorporate both of those things in what I do right now. And I think it's a very delicate process because, like I've said in a previous video, you're gonna try on many faces, you're gonna try on many personalities. And because I am someone that knows I'm in alignment with what it is that I'm supposed to be doing, I see that some people have such a cognitive dissonance from what it is that they are supposed to do. A lot of people are doing the wrong thing because they are trying what they think works instead of doing what comes naturally to them. And I'm not saying it's 100% wrong, but you have to be careful because a lot of the times we like to emulate people that we admire, which isn't an issue, but you have to generate some way out of that to draw inspiration and not impersonation. Number 2, align your goals with your purpose and your passion. And the first step to even figure this out is you guys have to stop keeping things in your head. And I mean that in the literal sense. You guys cannot have all these great ideas, these grand things, but you don't even want to take the time out to write down what it is that you desire. There is so much power in having a vision board, in writing a vision and making it plain. There is so much power in that. Pen to paper. Everything that you do should be an expression of your purpose. And how do we do this? Your heart is the best tool to access this, because when you are inspired, you lead from your heart and you are organically motivated to explore. When it comes to discovering a lot of different things about ourselves, the journey is weird. You have to ask the tough questions. I always say this to you guys. For instance, if you could be the woman of your dreams, who would you be? Who would you be? If you had all the money in the world, what would you be doing? Because we all want success, we all want the nice things, we all want the nice car, but how do we get it? And depending on where you are in your life, some people have a jaded perspective of success. Oh, it's not all about the money. It's not all about this. And yeah, money does not bring you happiness, but it certainly can help. And the only people that draw the conclusion that money doesn't equate to happiness are people that already have it. Or you'll hear that from people that don't believe they can ever get it, so they'd rather shun the idea as a whole. Think about what I just said. When you are ready to grow, you have to be willing to open up your mind. You have to broaden your horizon. And discovering why you enjoy doing certain activities, you have to take the time to figure that out. It's the only way you're going to be able to identify how to align your purpose with your passion. And I also think it's important to note that there's nothing wrong with drawing inspiration from other people that you admire. But because it's not really you, and it's easy to get caught up in impersonating as opposed to just drawing inspiration, I believe that as human beings, we are on a quest to constantly figure ourselves out. And that is why certain events happen to us to get us to wake up, to look within ourselves so that we can draw back to that place. But you're going to find yourself the most confused when you ignore the cues, when you don't surrender to the flow of life, which isn't easy, it's not easy. And you're also going to find yourself hitting a wall when you're still burning out doing things that you thought gave you gratification, but they are no longer doing that. And that's not to say that you can't outgrow certain things. However, when it stems from impersonating another person, how another person does things, it's not really you. And we are so different. Everyone on this earth is so different. There's a reason why other people's methods don't work for everyone. And I also think it's important to note, angels, before we move on to the last tip, that when you truly want change, you are going to look at yourself, look into yourself for revelation. You are not going to look at yourself for reassurance. And what does that mean? What I mean by that is you're not going to look at yourself to try and okay all the things that you were doing. There's a reason why you're hitting a fork in the road. There's a reason why certain events are happening to you. You want revelation. You want to understand yourself. And some people, unfortunately, in life, go through life never ever getting to know themselves. And your main job is simply to be good at being yourself. And there's a reason why kids are so good at being their authentic selves, and it's because they haven't identified how to mask their individuality yet. But as we grow and we develop those three things that I mentioned, which is what we think of ourselves, what others think of us, and what we would like for other people to think of us. So in that process, you're gonna have to compromise, adapt again, camouflage, mask, all these things. Of course, you're going to lose your sense of self. As we go through life and we face rejection and all of these different things, that is why. So if you're watching this, I want you to know there's nothing wrong with you because you lost your way. It is our job to find our way again, or find your way, period. It's your job. So yes, circumstances happen. Yes, tragedies occur, things beyond our control, but how are you responding? Tip number 3 is going to sound very cliche, but to me, it's very important. I like to consider myself a modern Christian because I always believe in by grace and through faith. That's my favorite saying, I guess, in my faith, because I always want to deliver things in grace. I also know that God has a lot of grace on me in my life. And I also know that favor isn't fair. So I don't compare my journey to other people. And I have the understanding and the peace of mind that what's for me is going to be for me. And as long as I am in alignment with what He wants me to do, there is no door that is meant for me that will close. There is no door that is meant for you that's going to close. If it closed, it wasn't for you. If it closed, it was a lesson. It's either a lesson or a blessing. So don't get caught up and dwell on missed opportunities or unforeseen circumstances and things like that, because that's what was meant to be. And when you start to live your life like this, or at least you think like that, you live a lot more intentionally instead of, things happen, that's life. Yes, that's life and things do happen. But when are you going to take initiative? Only dead fish go with the flow. Of course, there is a part of your journey where there's going to require surrenderance. The surrenderance that you will be doing is in service of finding yourself and healing yourself in order to find your way back to yourself, if that makes sense. It's not surrenderance in the way of giving up and doing nothing and being a victim about life. That's not what I mean. There's a reason why it's called growing pains, because it hurts. So for tip number 3, I'm gonna say that you have to pray. As human beings, we do need some sort of foundational belief. We need some sort of belief system, whatever that may be for you. That gives us hope. And there's magic, energy, a spiritual flow that really is beyond us and fuels us in moments of doubt and negativity and brokenness that help us to find ourselves and to reach our full potential. Because, I mean, after all, how you look at life is how you're gonna look at life. If you think that life is hard and it'll never get better, then, well, okay, you're right. Life is hard and it will never get better. And someone once said to me, when you pray for things, actually believe that they're going to happen. Because when you go to a restaurant and you order a meal, you're not going to sit there and say, well, I really hope that I get this, vegan cheeseburger. No, you're not thinking about it because you know that you said what you wanted and you're expecting to get it. And you're not fixated on getting it because you know that it's going to come. It's the same concept that we should apply to whatever it is that we're praying for. And at first when I heard that, I was like, wow. Because, I mean, raise your hand if you've done that before, where you've prayed about something, but you still told yourself, this isn't even really going to happen, so I don't even know why I'm bothering here. But as you mature, you will come to terms with everything in its own timing. We all want to rush the timeline, including myself. Where am I going to be in 5 years? Where am I going to be in 3 years? What does this mean? What was the purpose of that? All these things. It's normal to have these questions. But what's not okay is to sit there and dwell, become a victim, and not utilize your experiences to grow as an individual. You will never find your purpose if you are someone that is always in drama. You're always talking about this, talking about that. You're wasting time. You're filling your every weekend, going out every single weekend. You're never, ever taking the time out to figure yourself out. You live, by the motto of, well, you're only young once and you only live once, whatever people say. And yeah, both those things are true, but I would rather work hard now so I can enjoy my life earlier than do whatever I want, abusing my body at its best and expecting me to just magically gain the maturity and the insight that I'm supposed to learn, going through life never really getting deep with myself. Pay attention to things like that because we all want to be understood. We all have a purpose at the end of the day. And there's one quote that I love that Gandhi had said, and he said that my life is a message. And that resonated with me so deeply because I thought to myself, that is so true. I want my life to be my message. What is that going to say? What does that look like for you? If you are out partying, doing all these things, these are temporary things that are not going to be fulfilling. I'm not saying don't enjoy yourself, don't go out. Everyone has that phase. But after 25, babe, biologically, we are not even running the same. Your metabolism starts to slow down a little bit. You should be looking at life from a completely different perspective. You don't recover as quickly anymore, maybe from those hangovers. Life is different. Something has got to change. And this is why, and I talk about this more in my podcast, but this is why life throws us curveballs in different situations, because as human beings, we like to do what makes us comfortable, right? Of course, we don't want to do anything that makes us uncomfortable, but where does all the growth begin? When you're uncomfortable. In order to get something that you've never had before, you got to do something that you've never done before. So it's not going to be easy if you want to be an entrepreneur and you're used to waking up every day at 3 p.m. and you realize, oh my gosh, 3 hours into your day, it's already 6 p.m. It's like, why bother doing anything when I have to go maybe lay down again in another 3 hours, which will be 9 p.m. And then the day just wastes and wastes and wastes. And I want you guys to know, once you have these realizations about yourself, there will still be times where you will repeat those same behaviors while having this knowledge, because it's not a 1, 2, 3 thing, but eventually you will get better at it. You will eventually treat your job like it's a job. You will eventually be waking up early because you realize that you have to get certain things done in your day. If you don't do that, you will make the proper accommodations to make sure that you are still meeting your deadlines. You will start to look at life a lot more differently. People that are successful have to go through a phase of being disciplined and focused. That's the only way. There has to be solitude on what can I offer the world? How can I impact the world? Great people that you know of, people that are legends, are all providing a service of some sort, from speaking to selling products to the masses. What they promote, what they sell is utilized by people on a grand scale. So what is your life message going to be? What does it say about you? Are you happy right now with where you are? And I will say this probably until the quarantine is completely over, but we have really been gifted with time right now, and it'll be a real shame for you to waste it. It'll be a real shame for you to be spending all this time, all of these months, distracting yourself on these online dating apps nonstop all day. It's controlling your day, babe. Put your phone down. And how do I know? Because it's happened to me. It's gonna control your day. Oh my God, did he respond? Ooh, this guy likes me, this guy. And it's fun at the time, but then when you're saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Do you want to say no to yourself? Do you want to say no to your personal growth. A lot of the times people want to say, oh, I wish I could do this and I wish I could do that if I just had more time. But now you have it. What are you doing? The crazy thing is we as human beings love answers, especially me. I remember a time where all I wanted was someone to just have a solution to what I felt like my issues were. I wanted to be able to tell someone something and they tell me, okay, A, B, and C, do this, and that will be the expected outcome. But I've learned that the frustrating reality is that the answer really is within ourselves. And it's not always easy to identify. And there's a reason why it's not an easy thing to discover your purpose and do all these things. There's a reason why it's not easy, because we spend so much time running away from ourselves, not even all the time identifying what our issues are that contributed to where we are right now. Because you know why? That requires accountability and responsibility for where you are right here. I don't care what circumstances that you have endured, respectfully, but everybody has a story and everybody goes through something. And we all think that our situation is slightly, worse than the next person's. At least we like to think so. And because of that, sometimes we don't realize we just want sympathy when that is the moment that we should be accepting and ready to change the circumstance. So angels, I really hope that this video resonated with you. And if you would like to hear more about this topic, make sure that you tune into my podcast episode on Monday, where I will be really diving in deep to this topic and talking more about the ego and getting down to the specifics of why it's so difficult for us to discover our purpose a lot of the time, as well as dive in even deeper on how to discover our purpose as well and be our most authentic selves. Because it sounds very cliche to be your authentic self, but of course you have to identify who that is. Also, I would like to say, if you have any more suggestions about personal development and topics like that, please let me know in the comment section below, because I'd love to hear back from you guys. I love doing topics like this. It really, really warms my heart to know that you guys can see these things and it impacts you and it encourages you in any way. That is my why. That is why I do what I do, and I absolutely love it. If you watch this video all the way until this point, you are an angel. You are the ultimate A-Team supporter. So I want you in the comment section below to leave a star emoji if you watch this video all the way until the end. And with that being said, do not forget that I love you and God loves you. And I will see you beautiful angels in my next video. Mwah.